Hey, what's going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the three-game CS:GO main slate on Wednesday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, XFL, and now esports fantasy slates, DFS slates. So before we get into the slate for Wednesday, what we can do is we can look back at some lineups from Tuesday. So let's look at my main lineup first. So, my main lineup just missed the cash here. The surprising letdown was simple. Now, I talked about how he's going to be really, really high owned, and if you're making one lineup, you should probably play him. I was thinking about it. I was close to going Rops and Frozen. I was, but man, it was just so scary to fade simple. And if he goes off at a high ownership, you're just automatically dead. I couldn't pull a trigger, but some people did, right? 25% of people did. If you faded simple, you probably cashed. I mean, he wasn't terrible, but he just had a subpar game. You expect a lot more for him at his price. The FNC guys I talked about liking paired Brolin with Crims. Crims was one of my favorite plays there. He had 74 fantasy points. He was pretty clutch. And then I used a Device Dupree, paired them together. I really liked Astralis. They're going up against FaZe. As well as Glave, who was all right. But again, my letdown was just simple, not putting enough points up there in my captain spot. So let's look at the winning lineup here. I believe it was a Frozen captain lineup. Yep, he had Frozen the captain paired him with Rops. Zypex there had 94 fancy points. Magix, Crims, and Dupree. We can look at my late lineup, though. Late lineup was a lot better for me. Again, simple, and this one was almost 100% on. This was a little bit higher dollar tournament. I think $25 or $33 tournament. I forget what the entry was for this. But through simple in the captain, and then paired him with Electronic. Again, they got 2-0 by Mouse Esports, so both those guys are a little bit disappointing. But the guys in Astralis, Device, Glave, and Zypex were pretty solid. Frozen I had in there as well at lower ownership. So yeah, all in all, it was a profitable day for me because of this late slate lineup. But hope you guys all had a good slate as well. And let's talk about this 3-game slate. So we got the same teams again. Again, this is phase 2. So let's take a look at some Vegas odds here. We have first matchup is Mouse Sports against Fnatic. Mouse Sports are slight favorites here at minus 150. FaZe Clan versus Navi. Navi only minus 155. But I was a betting man. I think I like Navi there. And then Astralis, huge favorites there against OG, minus 385. So, obviously Vegas seems pretty confident in Astralis there going up against OG. So, let's talk about prices for this slate. I already entered some of my contests, so I don't want to show you guys my lineup. I already have mine set. Feel pretty good about it. All right, but yeah, let's go flex and let's start at the top. So simple at 9.2K. I think after a 50 fantasy point outing, he is just had a subpar game. 37 kills, 34 deaths, 3 assists. Didn't have any clutches. I think we get a bounce back here in a huge way against FaZe, who's been struggling. They're 0-3 now in phase 2. I really like simple once again. I think I'm gonna go right back to the wall. But again, there is merit to fade him. I think he's going to be high owned. Once again in the slate, he's been like 75% back-to-back slates. If you're making multiple lineups, I definitely think, fading him in a couple of those is not the worst idea. For me, who only makes one lineup per slate, I'm probably going to play him. I'm leaning towards it just because he has some pretty big upside here. And again, FaZe has been really struggling. So I do like simple a lot there at the top. Nico at 9K, I'll fade. He's been, FaZe's best player, but again, they've been really struggling. I don't want to pay 9K for Nico. Now, maybe if I'm making like 10 lineups, I would throw him in there 1 just because he does have upside, right? And if FaZe can pull off an upset, he's going to be a big reason why. So I wouldn't completely cross him off. But again, if you're making one lineup, I don't think I would go there. Now, the duo here for Mouse Esports, I've been playing a lot. I really thought about it for the main slate. Didn't end up going with it, but they 2-0'd Navi. Again, Rops and Frozen were a huge reason why these two have been on fire recently, and now they go up against Fnatic here, and they are slight favorites. So I do like Rops, I do like Frozen a lot. Again, they have been They have been on a tear recently. Now, I also think their ownership is going to be really high. I think, Simple and the two guys from Mouse Sports are going to be really, really high owned. So there are different ways you can go if you want. I think, playing those three guys to start is not a bad idea at all. There are some value plays we'll talk about in a bit. But right below them is our Device and Dupree. Now, Astralis, again, are huge favorites. So I think you're going to want some Astralis pieces here. The only, concern about Astralis is they're kind of a balanced team. They don't really have like a go-to guy. I think Device has probably the most upside, but last three performances kind of just subpar for him: 63, 63, and 59 fantasy points. And then you got Dupree, had a really solid game today. He had 79 fantasy points. He's been pretty consistent. So, if you want to get off some high-owned guys like Simple, like Rops, like Frozen, I think the two guys at the top here for Astralis make for interesting low-owned plays. But, my favorite guy in Astralis we'll talk about more in a bit. He's really, really cheap. Waxik at 7.8K, another just low-owned guy. I would not go there for one lineup. I think he's a pretty easy fade. He's more of just like, if you're making like a lot of lineups, you can throw him in there one. He kind of is the number 3 for Mouse Esports, but not for me for making one lineup. Let's see. We got Brolin here at 7.6K. These Fnatic guys, I think, are going to go pretty low-owned. Also a team that is kind of balanced. Brolin's had back-to-back, decent performances. He's going up. They are going up against, again, a hot team in Mouse Esports. So more of just a secondary play. I don't think I'm going to get there in one lineup. The FaZe guys, they have Brokey here at 7.4. I'll pass. I'm just not super confident right now in FaZe. Electronic at 7.4K. I think this is a decent price for him. He hasn't really looked great. Again, it's been kind of Simple doing a lot of the work. He is the number 2 guy here on Navi, but just hasn't had a huge performance, right? Just because, again, Simple kind of takes over. So I think he's an okay play. Not my favorite play, but not my least favorite play. Flusher, again, these Fnatic guys, not super, super excited about them. They're kind of more of a balanced team. I don't think one has a huge upside. Mantu is the guy that has the most upside here for OG. They have been, struggling, OG has, but Mantu has still been putting up good performances. 62 and 49, 65 and 47 in losing outings. So, yeah, I think Mantu is a guy that does have some upside and would be the guy I would look to if I was going to play someone in OG. Crims, he was one of my favorite plays in the slate today. As far as for tomorrow's slate, not super, super excited about it. I think he's an okay price, but not over the top on him. Magix, again, Astralis, they are a very, very balanced team. So I think he's a solid play. But my favorite play here for value right now is Zypex here at 6.2K. He's been a little bit up and down, right? 76, 67, 36, and 94 fantasy points. But this is... they have the best matchup here going up against OG. They're huge Vegas favorites, and he's really cheap price tag. So I really like Zypex here. He's probably my favorite value play of the day. But if you're looking for a pivot, right? Magix, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He is $400 more, and he is going to go a lot lower owned than Zypex. So if you're taking ownership in consideration, I think he's not a bad pivot there. I think, again, the flocks, including probably myself, are going to play Zypex. But for $400 more, you're probably going to get a lot lower owned guy in Magix. Now, I think you can play both those guys, too, if you want to. Again, Astralis is a pretty balanced team. I think both Magix and Zypex do have some pretty big upside. They kind of flashed it in that game today. And they're both reasonably priced, and they're huge favorites. So those are two guys that I do like a good amount here. Golden at 6.4, again, the Fnatic guys, I'm just not overwhelmed here, and I'm not super, super excited about it. I feel pretty confident Mouse Esports should take them. Rain, again, the FaZe guys is probably a stay away. Perfecto, he's been so up and down, I don't think I want to go there. Let's see, any other guys I want to talk about? Valde has kind of been the number 2 here for OGs, put up 61 and 63 in back-to-back games. He's only 6.2K. I think he's a viable punt option. Coldzera is okay, but again, FaZe has been really struggling. Glave was a guy who played in both lineups because he was so cheap. Now they raised his price to, he was 4.8K. He was the cheapest play of the slate today. Now they raised his price to 5.8. Again, I think he's okay, but I would prefer getting to Zypek, so I think it's a lot more upside at a similar price. Let's see, NBK, I don't think I want to go there. Olfmeister, no, thank you. Two really cheap guys I have some interest in are Chris J and Kerrigan. If you want to go top heavy, right? If you want to get simple, if you want to get a couple of those Mouse Esports guys or those top Astralis guys, you're going to have to take a shot in one of these really cheap guys. Again, I do like Zypek's a good amount for value, but you might have to play someone down here at the bottom. I think Chris J or Kerrigan are viable, both at really cheap price tags. And yeah, let's see. Oh, what were the winning lineups as far as stacks here? So for the main slate, it was what, a 2. So yeah, Dupree, Magic and Zai. It was a 3-2-1 stack that won it in the main, and then a what was it? A 3-3 stack or 3-2-1 stack again in the late slate. So I think it is viable again to play 3 in one team. I think Astralis is the team that you can feel the most confident in, just because again they're heavy Vegas favorites. But the guys at the Mouse Esports have been really solid. Again, Frozen and Rops there at the top. I think both those guys will be somewhat popular. So yeah, again, if I was building my lineups, I'm not super excited about FaZe or OG. I think I probably stay away from most of their players. Same thing kind of with Fnatic. So I think stacking either Astralis or Mouse Esports is probably going to be the way that I go and try to get simple in my lineup as well. So I think that is going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. We are over 3,000 subscribers. Just want to say, I hope you guys are doing well. I know, we do have some sort of good news. Baseball, they said they're maybe try to get back going in like mid-May or something. So that is some positive news. Haven't heard anything about the NBA, but hoping we get that, I think best case scenario is probably June for the NBA, so maybe a couple months, right, if you're looking at the bright side. So hopefully we do get some sports back somewhat soon. But yeah, thanks again for everyone to come and check the video. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys all have a good night, and I will see you all in the next video.